What's going on, everybody? I'm Taylor Carter and you are watching Thairabian Kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a burger, and not just any burger, the Thairabian burger. I call it that because it is undoubtedly the best burger I've ever had in my life, and I think it's going to be one of the best burgers you've ever had in your life as well. It's not much to making it. It's pretty simple. You should absolutely give it a try. Let's get started. All right, the very first order of business is we're gonna build a sauce to go on these burgers. It's a pretty simple sauce, but it's very delicious. We're gonna start with a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. A tablespoon each of the adobo sauce out of a can of chipotle peppers. And then ketchup. And then we are going to add about a 1/2 cup of dill pickle. I would advise that you get the crunchiest dill pickles that you can possibly get. If you can find some good fresh Italian pickles or something like that, that would be ideal. The texture is really good if you can get a good crunchy pickle, but use what you can. However, I wouldn't use relish in this. I would use good dill pickles that you cut up. Go ahead and add that to our mixture. I'm going to throw just a little pinch of salt, maybe like an eighth of a teaspoon. We're gonna get that mixed up nicely. And to be completely honest with you, this recipe is very, very inspired by a Bon Appetit recipe that's on the internet. The burger is going to be quite a bit different than the way the recipe is written on the internet. However, this is exactly the sauce. It's just one of those things. It works so good. It's so delicious. Why change it? Why f with something that works, right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the refrigerator, let it hang out while we get the rest of the burgers together. So the next order of business is to deal with the burgers themselves. All right, now we're gonna get to the burger patties themselves. This couldn't be simpler. We're just gonna use some straight up ground chuck. I wouldn't go any leaner than that. Ground chuck is perfect for these burgers, which is 80% lean to 20% fat. So what I'm gonna aim for, these are gonna be small burgers. I'm gonna aim for about 33 grams or so per burger, which is just slightly over an ounce. So I'm gonna fire up the old kitchen scale here. All right, we're already on grams. And then I'm just gonna, portion it out. Just to give you an idea here, that's exactly 33 grams. Really anything 30 to 35 grams would be ideal. But what you need to do here is to just form a very loose ball. Don't try to form this into a patty or anything. We're gonna do that later. This is more of a smash burger. Well, not more of a smash burger. It actually is a smash burger. So what I'm gonna do with each of these, like I said, is just loosely form it into a ball. That's good enough. So I'm gonna work my way through the rest of this ground beef, and then we're gonna get cooking. All right, it's time to cook these burgers. I'm gonna do 2 of them. 2 of them's actually a pretty perfect serving size for one person because they're pretty small burgers, like I said. So I'm gonna go ahead and add them to a preheated cast iron skillet. It's preheated over medium-high heat. All right, now it's time to put the smash in these smash burgers. I'm just gonna use a spatula and then something heavy. In my case, my rolling pin. And you wanna smash them down really good. And it's okay if they tear a little bit. We'll be able to make it work, trust me. Perfect. At this point, we're just going to let these cook until we start to get some juices pulling up to the top. And then we'll give them a flip. Now, while I got these burgers going on behind me, I only got a few minutes to work here. I want to toast up the buns, and the buns I'm using are not just any buns, they are the Great Martin's potato rolls. It's very important that you use these for this particular recipe because it just would not at all be the same without using them. And they're pretty much available all over the country. So I'm going to use 2 of them, of course, because I've got 2 burgers going. And all I'm going to do is add just a really thin sliver of unsalted butter to each side of each bun. And I've got a griddle behind me that I'm going to toast them on. I'm just going to lightly toast them. I'm going to let that happen while the burgers are cooking. All right, it's only been like maybe a minute, minute and a half, and I'm sure you can see we've already got some juices pulling up. Burgers getting cooked through in the center. So right before we flip them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to season this side with a little bit of salt. And then we're going to use some good old-fashioned mustard, some old school mustard. Trust me, when we flip these puppies, it's going to make all the difference in the world to let them stew in that mustard. So again, don't worry about these breaking up. We'll be able to make it work. Trust me, you'll see here in a minute. Keep them as together as you can, but it's no big deal if they're falling apart. Alright, so you can see this one here really fell apart, but the cheese is actually going to hold it together. So I'm going to go ahead and add that right now. And this is not the time to get fancy at all. I would just add good old-fashioned American cheese. It's going to melt, and that's actually what's going to be holding this burger together. Okay, it's probably only been maybe like another minute and a half, 2 minutes. These things go quick, so go ahead and pull them off. They're already done. All right, I think it's time. Let me check on these here buns. Yeah, they're pretty well perfect. You just want to get a nice light toast on these. And the very first thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of this sauce. And I only use a small amount, a little bit on each side. That's plenty. All right, and then I very thinly sliced some onion. So I'm going to add a little bit of that to the bottom half of the bun. That's plenty for one burger. You don't want to overdo it because, like I said, these are very thin burgers and you got to keep these proportions right. So I'm going to go ahead and add the burgers. And as you see, as this cheese kind of melted, it held that particular one together. So it's no problem if they fall apart in the pan. That cheese will help you out. So I'm going to throw a little bit of tomato on here. You can skip this if it's out of season or you don't like tomato for that matter. But if it's in season and you can get good fresh tomato, it's hard to beat. But there's something you can never have tomato without. That's salt. So I'm going to add some pretty high quality sea salt to this. If you don't have a high quality like finishing salt, just add some coarse kosher salt. That'll do the trick. So just a little smidge. That's good to go. Just going to do a quick little grind of black pepper. Not much at all. And that's going to complete this burger. I'm here to tell you I'm excited about this. This particular burger has actually gotten me laid before. I'm not making that up. And that particular missus, she was a little heavy on the hoof. She was no stranger to a good burger, if you know what I mean. She seemed to think this was the best one she had ever had. So let's give it a try. Oh, that also reminds me with that particular young lady. She also taught me that turns out I like my women like I like my coffee. And that's without some other dude's dick in it. So I'm getting distracted. Let's try this burger. I'm very excited. It's going to be delicious. It's unreal. you have to try this. You have to try this. It's super easy, not much to it, and it could get you lucky, if you know what I mean. Anyways, if you like these videos, if you like to see more like it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you don't like it, that's cool too. Hit the dislike button, but make sure you hit that bitch twice. I'm Taylor Carter. I'm out.